Welcome back to Hasbro's Hide on a very hot and muggy day. It's really hot up here in the shop, and so we're going to spend just a little time here. Air conditioning is blazing, so I'm sorry if it's a little bit noisy in the background. I'll try to do what I can about that. But we're going to go out and shoot some 5.56 rifles I haven't shot in a while. And I love these guns. I spent a lot of time developing them, but really haven't been shooting them so much. Maybe we'll bring them back alive on the channel here. And that is a White Oak Armament barreled AR-15 with a LaRue MBT trigger, and then also a Wilson Combat barreled AR-15 with a LaRue MBT trigger, and good scopes and things like that. But I thought we'd do, it just sort of came up that I happened to see that AAC was producing 77 grain open tip match Sierra bullet ammo, and so I thought, well, that's the magic combination for shooting those other rifles, is the 77 grain Sierra Match Kings with the cantilever. In fact, I don't know if you can see it in the camera there, but right there is the cantilever. So these are the same bullets. They're in new AAC brass, which is nice. And so we're going to go see how they do. They're pretty reasonably priced. I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure I can load the really high-end precision rounds that I have been loading from a rifle for this price. Now, will they be as accurate? No, they're not going to be as accurate. I mean, without a doubt, they're not going to be as accurate just because of the attention to detail and all you spend when you load your own premium match grade ammunition, or at least the attention I do and the attention you should do. But these look very nice. They look very well done. Everything's in, brand new cases annealed. You kind of expect that sort of thing. Primers are all nice and flush with the pockets, and really nothing to see here as far as any kind of obvious defects. So we're going to take them to the range, see how they do. They're pretty hot rounds, supposedly, 2,700 feet per second. So we're going to find out. The White Oak Armament's an 18-inch barrel, and the Wilson is a 20-inch barrel. So we're going to find out and see how well or how fast they go compared to the advertised feet per second. And we'll see how accurate they are, too. Because, again, if they're reasonably accurate for the price, well, I can shoot these in a lot of matches. Maybe not the ultimate draw little tiny circles match, but shooting steel, MOA targets, things like that, I'm sure they'll probably, I hope anyway, they'll be perfectly good for that. If they're labeled precision, we're going to find out how they do. So let's go hit the range on this hot day. Target one.
Yep, I'm out of here.
All right, GoPro battery died, so let's try it again. A little low, but that barrel may be cold now. There we go, back up. Well, that velocity is low.
Clean between shots.
Actually, my accuracy was better by not cleaning.
Yeah.
I may go back to that.
I get it as close as very testable.
That's
Yeah.
why
That's a
I can.
right.
Ooh, that dropped low.
Darn clean. Okay.
Going that time.
Bullet. Science on how much.
The other one down there. Two grouping. We'll go back in from the range and take a look at our targets. Now, of course, we've been shooting our AAC 77 grain Sierra Match King 5.56 NATO rounds and seeing how they do. Now, in my experience, generally, the only reason I use this bullet particularly is for long-range precision. And so, starting at 100 yards, we took a look at some different groupings and see what it do. We used two different rifles. The first on the left here is our Wilson Combat rifle. And it's a very good rifle, match grade. That's a Wilson Combat barrel, I should say. It's arrow precision upward and lower, and LaRue MBT trigger and things like that. A very, very good rifle, and it shoots sub 0.4. Really I've got sub 0.3, but regularly sub 0.4 with hand loads in a Sierra 77 grain Sierra, Match King bullet. Now, that's different powders and et cetera, and it's truly match grade ammo where you're really, really detailed and OCD on the powder charges, on the annealing, on the trimming, on the primers and primer pockets and everything else. And you can, out of a gas gun, get some pretty amazing accuracy. A good result here with that gun, but not as good as the hand loads. And that's fine, because this is not advertised as a match ammo. But it certainly has some high performance, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But let's look at the numbers here first. So this first group up here, this is all sight-in stuff to get us on target and to make sure we're reasonably close, with this ammunition being a little different than what I load, but really not too much different in velocity. But the first group up here is a 1.34 MOA, and that's primarily because we had one fall out, and that was a lower velocity round, all at 100 yards here, of course. And so, you know, it's grouping fairly well. Now, it's not super tight, but that would be half-inch group or so, or half MOA. But as it is, with this falls out 1.3. Now we move over here, and we get two separations in the groups. And this was really consistent. I'd shoot 1, shoot 2, 3, 4, 5. So it was definitely doing a two group thing, which is not a good behavior, but the group is smaller. And that's just over 1.086 MOA. Well, to try to back that up, now this is all the same ammo, same lot, and in fact, same box of ammo here for this. Then we opened up again here to a well, I guess it's really not opened up. It's similar. 1.07 is what it shows here on MOA, 1.12 inch group here. And so, again, MOA, not bad, right? Especially for a higher volume, higher production ammo, not bad. Now, would I call it precision? Out of a lot of rifles, yes. Okay, MOA out of a gas gun, an AR type platform is not a bad result. It's just this particular gun will do better. But still, I mean, you go buy this, it's reasonably priced, and you know, you can shoot MOA all day long. And so that's pretty good. And we'll talk about some other performance, like I said, mentioned here in a minute. So let's take a look now at our other target over here. Now this is a White Oak Armament SPR barrel, 18-inch barrel. And this one shot it just a little bit better, or at least a little more consistently, but just a little bit better. So our top left target is sub MOA. It's 0.865 MOA, or about a 0.9 inch group. And so that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Now our next target over, very, very similar, 0.884 MOA, or 0.926 inch group. So just a, you know, 20 thousandths or so bigger group. So pretty consistent, which is really nice to see, okay? So it seemed to like the ammo a little bit better. And then the final group here is a 0.936. So 0.865, 0.884, and 0.936 inch groups here. So all sub MOA in the White Oak Armament barrel. So what does that tell you? Well, these are both match grade barrels, and et cetera, and it just shows that, you know, each barrel type and rifling type may like this combination, this velocity and powder, just a little bit different than another. And so yours may vary from what I show here, of course. But I think it's actually pretty good results, because, you know, for the price of this, right, and you can look that up yourself, the price of that ammo, when I load it myself for really high precision, it's more expensive right now with the way the components are and things. Now I can dial it in to groups less than half this size, much less than half this size. But do you need it? Well, that depends on the type of shooting you're doing, right? Shooting steel, things like that, shooting even MOA targets, you'll be just fine with either one of these rifles to generally speak of, certainly the White Oak Armament and this ammunition. And, you know, it's readily available. So I think that's awesome that AAC puts out this kind of an ammunition. So let's take a look at some other stats here. All right, normally I put these out on this up in the screen, but I'm just going to hold this up here for tonight. So this is this group, okay? So it was shooting really, really tight. And if you look, its average is less than 2,700. Now, the reason that's important is on their box, they advertise 2,700 feet per second. Now, you're probably not going to get that out of a 16-inch barrel, but an 18-inch barrel and 20-inch barrel in the case of the White Wilson Combat, you get that kind of performance. Now, the interesting thing is, if you remember, I pointed to this one, that it fell out low. Let's take a look at our stats together here. If you look, our average is that, but we have a large standard deviation. That's really large, okay? And this is why. There's the bullet that fell out, 2602. So it was 100 feet per second low, and that just messes up all the stats. You take that out, and the standard deviations are actually pretty good in this overall. But that explains it. So even in good ammunition, well, flyer or whatever, there's a bad round there for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back now and look at some Wilson Combat data, or excuse me, some White Oak Armament data. Now this is, this target should be this one right here, okay? And we see here we went from 43 standard deviation to 12.6. So that's a lot better. And you can sort of see here the stats are much more consistent when you look at things along the way. But all are basically 2,700 feet per second. This one's 1.6 feet below it. So there's still a decent amount of variation. Hand loads will be tighter than this. But this is not a bad number for a factory loaded ammunition at all. And so pretty good results, and it does confirm then their claim at 2,700 feet per second average. Now we have another session here. Let me pull its set of data up. Here's the second set of data on the White Oak Armament barrel, 8.8 standard deviation. So a little bit better grouping, and I believe that was this one here. So a lot of this dispersion could be other things, more likely me or just simply variation in the bullets and ammo. But again, not a bad result at all. Now 8.8 is acceptable, I think, in a gas gun. I've gotten it much lower than that, but that's a pretty good result, especially from factory ammo. But if you look overall on average, it was going 8.8 low up to about 13 or so with a White Oak Armament. But then this target, our Wilson Combat, had the really high 43 standard deviation, which is not good. So there's a bit of variation here. But out of all the rounds tested, we only had one really fall out 100 feet per second. There was another one fell out about 70 feet per second. But out of all those, that's 2 rounds that fell that low. All the ones on target here, so that would be 50 rounds on target. Now all these, I didn't really count these. I just sort of shot them to sight in, and so I'm not going to say there could be some other ones low there. But overall, I think it's a pretty good result for AAC's ammo. Could they do better? Yeah, sure they could do better, but they're not advertising. They're advertising the precision round. I would say that's true because of the bullet and the general results here, okay? All sub-MOA with the White Oak Armament barrel anyway, and probably averaging at or just slightly above MOA here. So not too bad. You could call that precision, but I would not call it match ammunition, okay? In AAC and the people there at Palmetto State, if you guys could do that, that'd be awesome. If you could actually produce this same round in match ammunition, because you're doing an awesome job with this bullet, in general, an awesome job on target, and the velocity is really respectable. Now, if you don't relate to this kind of velocity, 2,700 feet per second plus and a 77 grain Match King is a high pressure round. It's a true 5.56 NATO round. It's really at or around the Mark 262 Mod 1 ammunition velocity. There's a Mod 2 and a Mod 3. Mod 3 is a different powder combination all, and it's actually up near 2,800, my understanding is now. But the Mod 1 is really right in this range. It's up to about 20, from my experience, 2730 to 2750. And there were rounds in this at close to 2750. So they're very, very close on their velocities and things like that. Now, is velocity king for accuracy? Not always, but generally as you push up towards the higher end of the velocity range, you'll find your most accurate node. Generally, not always. But in this bullet, I found somewhere around this velocity, 2700 to 2730, in a different powder, couple different powders, is where I get, you know, sub 0.4 and sub 0.3 in some cases accuracy out of these rifles. So good job, AAC. It'd be awesome to see if you come out with a match version of this, because you have everything there to do it, I think. All the capability and the basics are there. So that'd be awesome if you ever come out with that. I would certainly purchase that and test it. So anyway, I hope you like this kind of stuff. I haven't been shooting my 5.56 rifles in a while. I need to do more of that. I think what I'll do next is go back and do another series with the hand loads. I haven't done that for a while because I have already. If you haven't seen them, look in the playlist. There are several videos on how to ring out both of these rifles' accuracy quite a bit more. And they might be helpful to you. So I hope you like this. If you do, give me a like and subscribe. And we'll catch you later.